The White House calls an impromptu energy meeting what one Senate committee chairman tells Clean Skies News about his expectations. China and India formally agreed to join the international climate change deal reached in December in Copenhagen. And it's Oil Day at CIRA. We'll continue our coverage from the Energy Conference in Houston.
From the Energy News Center in Washington, D.C., this is the Energy Report with Susan McGinnis.
Good afternoon, I'm Susan McGinnis. Thanks for joining us for the Energy Report. This afternoon, President Obama is hosting an energy and climate summit of sorts, an apparent effort to advance negotiations over a Senate climate bill. The co-authors of this long-awaited bill, Senators Kerry, Graham, and Lieberman, are among the 14 senators invited to attend, as are leaders of the Budget, Commerce, and Finance committees. Also on hand today, heads of EPA, Interior, Energy, and the Ag Department. The event is closed to the press. The White House is not saying much about the discussion, but earlier Clean Skies' Tyler Suiters caught up with Energy Committee Chairman Jeff Bingaman. He was invited to the meeting, but seems to be somewhat in the dark as well.
What are your expectations for the White House meeting this afternoon?
I don't have any clear expectations. The President has asked several of us to come down there and talk about what the future is for enacting energy and climate change legislation. I think it's a useful thing to do.
Well, Tyler also talked to the ranking member of the Energy Committee, Lisa Murkowski, about today's meeting and the one point she'd like to make to President Obama. You can see Tyler's full report right here on the website. Well, add India and China to the list of countries backing the Copenhagen Climate Change Accord. The two countries are the last major emitters yet to formally endorse the December deal. The Copenhagen Accord sets a non-binding goal of limiting global warming to 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and a goal of $100 billion in aid from 2020. It also lists steps by all the top greenhouse gas emitters to either cut or curb the growth of emissions by 2020. The EU's climate change chief says a global deal on reducing greenhouse gas emissions may not be possible before 2011. Commissioner Connie Hedegaard says it would be risky to expect a legally binding deal to emerge from the planned December climate summit coming up in Cancun, Mexico. Hedegaard told the European Parliament today that remaining differences between parties may delay an agreement on this until next year. 4 environmental groups are suing the European Commission for withholding documents they say will add to growing evidence that biofuels harm the environment and push up food prices. The lawsuit filed by Client Earth, Transport and Environment, the European Environmental Bureau, and BirdLife International alleges several violations of European laws on transparency. The groups say leaked documents show biofuels can drive up demand for land, encouraging farmers in tropical areas to expand cropland into wetlands and rainforests. Burning forests can release so much CO2 as to cancel out any benefits sought from the biofuels. According to groups, one leaked email says that taking account of biofuels' full carbon footprint could kill their role in the EU. So far, no comment from the European Union, which has a goal of getting 1/10 of its road fuels from renewable sources like biofuels by 2020. New technology is quickly changing forecasts for oil and natural gas worldwide. Speakers at CIRA Week 2010 say the industry completely missed the potential of hydraulic fracturing in gas shales as little as 3 years ago. They say success in the U.S. has exploration companies trying out the technology in shale formations around the world. Speakers pointed to efforts in Eastern Europe and in Ukraine in particular as the potential game changers in the world energy picture if gas finds let those areas become independent of Russian gas. Overall, the new gas discoveries have left expansion plans for liquefied natural gas exports in limbo as the U.S. market for LNG shrinks. Kjell Petersen, CEO of Norway's Petoro, says advances in seismic technology used in hydrofracking are also enabling the industry to get more from mature oil wells. Energy Secretary Chu told the conference he is confident there is more technology on the way, with the Energy Department investing in a range of technologies, including more efficient petroleum-based transportation fuels with fewer carbon emissions. You can catch all of this week's coverage from the CIRA conference on our website here at cleanskies.com. Well, did EPA go too far in retailoring its tailoring rule? That's the question some environmentalists are asking after Administrator Lisa Jackson said she is raising the exemption for greenhouse gas emitters from 25,000 tons a year to 75,000. The tailoring rule is key to EPA regulating greenhouse gases under the Clean Air Act. The act says polluters can be cited for as little as 250 tons of emissions. Jackson said she raised the level in response to complaints from coal state Democrats saying the lower level was too onerous on small business. Well, earlier today, Clean Sky's Dan Goldstein talked with Bill Snape, senior counsel with the Center for Biological Diversity, about whether environmental groups may sue to get EPA to regulate the smaller sources.
By EPA's own data in the proposed rule, we estimate that we'll lose between 6,000 and 9,000 big emitters by this change to the rule. So that's a lot of pollution. And 25,000 tons of carbon dioxide is akin to about 5,000 automobiles per year emitting carbon dioxide. It's a lot of pollution.
And you can catch all of Dan Goldstein's interview with Bill Snape on our website, cleanskies.com. The government says plan on paying more than $3 a gallon for gas this coming summer. Energy Department says prices at the pump are likely to jump as more drivers hit the road for spring and summer vacations. For the year, it sees a national average of $2.84 a gallon, up from $2.35 last year. EIA expects average oil prices to top $80 a barrel this spring, $82 per barrel by year-end, and $85 a barrel by the end of 2011. Checking on today's NYMEX numbers, we have oil falling 38 cents down to $81.49 a barrel, natural gas dropping a penny to $4.52 per 1,000 cubic feet. Massey Energy says it will send its first coal shipment to China later this month. While cracking one of the world's largest coal markets is important, Massey's Vice President of Planning, Mike Bowersox, sees more promise in India. He says that country's steel industry makes it an attractive market for metallurgical-grade coal from Appalachia. Speaking today at an investor conference in Florida, Bowersox estimates Massey will ship 2 million tons of coal to India next year. He says Indian metallurgical coal imports could surpass China in a decade. Let's take a look now at some energy goings-on around the Beltway tomorrow. At 8:30, the Alliance to Save Energy has an energy efficiency forum bringing together experts from the public and private sectors. Clean Skies News will be there. At 9:30, the House Select Committee on Energy Independence and Global Warming has a hearing on clean energy jobs and consumer saving. And we'll have more from Day 3 at Zero Week 2010 in Houston. Clean Skies' Margaret Ryan is there all weekend. That is the Energy Report. We'll see you again tomorrow with your latest energy news. For any suggestions or comments about our programming here on Clean Skies News, you can email us at contact@cleanskies.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. From all of us here in the Energy News Center, good night.